1842, O'Connor conceived a land plan. It aimed to settle people from industrial towns into agricultural communities in the countryside. Each family would have a house and a plot of land to farm. They would be self-sufficient and sell surplus produce, pay rent and be independent. By qualifying for a vote, Chartists would be able to influence the electoral system. Most of all, they would live in dignity instead of squalor.
In 1846, O'Connor launched his utopian scheme with the formation of the National Land Company. Funds were raised by prospective settlers making weekly payment, the size of which determined the size of the plot they hoped to receive. O'Connor put in money of his own, and in 1846 he bought Perringer's farm near Rickmansworth. 36 cottages and a school were built. Each cottage had either 2, 3 or 4 acres of land attached, and a small cash amount to give them a start. The settlers were selected by a ballot held in Manchester on Easter Monday 1846. On May the 1st, 1847, the first settlers marched in procession from Watford Station, preceded by a band. Their rural adventure had begun. They called the area O'Connorville, and it is now known as Heronsgate.
In 1847 and 1848, were years of great enthusiasm. But by 1850, the dream had turned into a nightmare. Many settlers found the plots too small to sustain their families and to pay the rent. They felt let down, and some sadly returned to their own towns. A parliamentary inquiry decided that the constitution of the land company was illegal, and it was wound up. O'Connor lost all the money he had invested, and O'Connorville was put up for auction.
Once there was a weaver, a weaver like no other. On his journey laid the true, the song of all creation, woven with the thread of life that all we joined as one, weaving out the harmonies that sang through all eternity. Sing a song for everyone and sing a song for me. I weave a word of wonder, but you break my tall asunder. You trample down my labor and rip my roots from under. You leave my land of vegetation in the country day. You run your head around you, your mouth strength around you. Sing a song for everyone and sing a song for me. And you hear the bee sing, holding light between its wings. Takes the nectar from the flower, keeps the blossom standing. There's no death, no damage, taking only what he needs. On his way, his granny goes and brings sweet the garden. Sing the song for everyone and sing the song for me. Sing the song for everyone and sing the song for me.
With the collapse of the land company, Fergus O'Connor's health deteriorated. He became mentally unstable and eventually had a breakdown. He was admitted to Dr. Tuke's asylum in Chiswick. 2 years later, his sister Harriet took him to her home in Notting Hill. Here she nursed him for the rest of his life, along with his devoted maidservant, with whom he had had 2 children. Fergus O'Connor died in August 1855. Over 40,000 people attended his funeral at Kensal Green Cemetery.
The north wind delivers its sermon, ice and salt water and stone. By night as the dawn dances over the bay. Sleep blows the breath of the morning away, and will follow the heaven home. By night and day will sport and will play and delight, as the dawn dances over the bay. Sleep blows the breath of the morning away, and will follow the heaven home.
12 years after O'Connor's death in 1855, the vote was granted to all males over 30. Because of the Chartist movement, this eventually led to the suffragette movement gaining votes for women. Heron's Gate is today more or less as it was in O'Connor's time, still the very narrow roads down which the Chartists marched, and the Chartist motif can be seen under the eaves of the settlers' houses. You may not have heard of Fergus O'Connor, but his memory lives on as a campaigner for improvement to the lives of the poor and reforming the electoral system. He is part of our local history and should be remembered.
I am the freedom that walked from his head, we'll rally around him again and again, with a proud new laurels and champions to be, the honor, the hatred, the sweet liberty.
O'Connor!